Welcome to the Dance Entrepreneurship Podcast, the podcast for studio owners, independent teachers, and all those bringing dance to their community. Each week, we talk money, mindset, and self-care. Let's get started. Hey guys, I wanted to pop on today and give you a quickie episode. I recently returned from the Energize conference in Chicago, and it was a great experience. I really enjoyed myself, connected with a lot of other business owners, not just studio owners, but just business owners, entrepreneurs, and I had a great time. Great conversations, talking about business, talking about mindset, life, all the things. And then I had a very long trip back. In fact, what was supposed to be a 2.5-hour flight on a Sunday afternoon turned into 8 hours of delays, followed by cancellations, rebooking, and an ultimate cancellation of my flight and driving all the way home. So, needless to say, it was exhausting. It was a 13-hour drive, which should have just been a 2.5-hour, typical flight. So, one of the things that I had scheduled on the day after I got back was my first meeting with my new coach. And I really wanted to work with her. I reached out to her like a few weeks ago saying I want to, start working with her. And I really enjoy her style. She helps me to think differently, challenges me. She's not intimidated by me or anything like that. And so I feel like our time together is really productive. And so I reached out to work with her again. So I had this meeting set for that day, and it was supposed to be like 3 days after I got back from the conference. So I had time to rest, refresh, kind of get my mind in the right mindset to get coached. And that was not the case at all. In fact, I got back and I was so tired, and I just remembered, I was like, oh man, I have to get my Zoom link and pay the invoice and everything. So I did that, met with her, and I'm glad I did. So a few things I want to highlight. First, that sometimes we set ourselves up to make a change or to get help in some way or enroll in a program, and then life kind of happens, and oftentimes we're like, oh, I'll just start later. I'm not ready. I got to get these few things off my plate before I start. And I think for me, that's not the attitude that I wanted to take. Instead, I said, because I have so much going on, because I feel so overwhelmed, I want to talk to my coach to help sort out my thoughts, to help sort out my action steps, and what do I do next? And have someone who had clarity and able to just listen, have them help guide me through that. So often we want to get help and we wait to get the help because we think we can get it together good enough to then get help. You see, that doesn't make sense, but that's what our human nature is, right? I want to lose weight, but I'm going to wait to work with that personal trainer until I lose 10 pounds first so that I feel like I can get a head start. This is things that we do to ourselves all the time. And I just want to remind us all as entrepreneurs that when it comes to getting help, you shouldn't wait too long, right? Because the longer you wait, the longer you're delaying that next move, that next step, that next piece of what you're doing in your business. So I want to remind you of that. Now, I'm going to share a tidbit of one of the assignments. Yes, I got homework from my coach. One of the assignments from my coach, and that is to write my job description. So my coach knows me enough to know that I have a dance studio. I also have a photography business and also business entrepreneurship coaching. I do courses. I speak at conferences, I teach workshops, and I lead the certification program for the studio owner certification. And so she challenged me for my business coaching business. She challenged me to write my own job description. And this is when I was reminded of why I chose her, because she helps me to think differently. And in this case, when she told me to write my own position description, It was kind of eye-opening, right? Because so many of us, when we hire other people or get contractors in place or things like that, we write a job description for those people, but never for the CEO, never for the business owner. And this gives us a moment of pause to think about, what are we responsible for? Who do we supervise? What support do we provide? What our purpose of our position is? And the place in our organization. So I challenge you, when's the last time you, as the business owner, most of us founders, when are you sitting down and writing your position description? When have you written down the responsibilities of this role? When have you sat down and said, okay, what are the qualifications for someone to hold this position that I hold? So this is what's really neat, right? If you get to the point in your business where you still want to run the business and you want to own the business, but you don't want to be involved in the day-to-day, you might want to hire a CEO to run the business, to supervise the staff, to pay the bills, to do all the things while you're the owner. I know most of us in the dance industry have not done that, right? We might have a manager, might have an HR person. We might have somebody who oversees dance classes or someone who handles the booking or rehearsal schedule. Perhaps you have someone who handles choreography and wardrobe. But to hire a CEO and you're the owner, that's not that common. So what would it look like if you were the owner of your dance business? The owner of the business, but not the CEO. Not the one signing checks. Not the one hiring and firing. What would that look like? How do you capture what you currently do in your business and sift through things that you do just because you do them versus what an actual C-suite executive does? How might your CEO job description compare to another CEO job description in another industry, right? Like, what are you actually doing in your business? Are you actually doing entry-level work? Are you doing mid-manager work? Or are you doing CEO work? Are you taking the time to look at the big picture, to take the vision of the organization and drive it forward? Or are you simply working day to day, month to month, paycheck to paycheck, putting the value of what you do on the time that you put in? Which is it for you? You see, if you are in business for a while and you decide you want to step down from the CEO role and become the owner, you need to be able to clearly say to a potential candidate, this is what is required of this job. This is how we clearly define this role. So when you do this, right, you create your position description for yourself, what you currently do. Then take a moment and look through, like, what makes sense? Like, am I doing things I shouldn't be doing, right? I don't remember the guy's name, but this really great quote stuck with me for a while. And this is what he said. He said, you want to transfer responsibility and delegate to the lowest paid person who can do the job well. And in many of our cases, that is not what we're doing. We are not transferring responsibility to the lowest paid person who can do the job well. In fact, we're doing that ourselves. Some of us are like, oh, I still love to rhinestone costumes. Some of us are, I love teaching the preschoolers. Some of us, I love choreographing all of the dance company numbers. Some of us are like, oh no, I do all the social media and I understand the grind of a founder. I understand the bootstrapping. I understand those early phases where you're doing all the things. You're a solopreneur. And how do you plan to grow to the next level if you continue to do all the things? You see, many of the most successful CEOs, they do work. They're busy, right? They have a packed schedule. And some of the things that help pack their schedule are mandatory yoga class, waking up early to read current events, managing their money, meeting with their leadership teams, going to meetings and building connections and partnerships with other organizations or nonprofits or government entities. You see, there's this shift that happens. They're working to grow the business, but not by answering the phone for every customer or updating the website every day. They're focusing on the vision of the business to move things forward, to be sustainable, to pay all the bills, and then some, to be profitable, even if you're a nonprofit, to have profit margin, to be able to grow so that you can invest in the business, have savings in the business. Perhaps you're growing and you're increasing your salary and the staff of the staff salary to make sure that they're paid a competitive wage. All these things are happening at the CEO level, but so often we get bogged down in the day-to-day details and we never lift our heads up to see, what is it I should be doing as a CEO? How do I make sure that the time that I'm spending on the business is growing the company, bringing in money, ensuring that we're sustainable, making sure we don't go out of business, making sure we have cash reserves, right? So I challenge you to write your own position description. I want to see if you can do it. Where do you have a hard time? What areas do you find that you should be working on or you shouldn't be working on? Like, where are you in this process? What is going on? What do you need to do or not do? What is it that should change? What are things that you probably should have been focusing on but haven't, right? And when you do this, I want you to think back. Think back to when you started your business and what you imagined your role to be, what you thought you were going to be doing when you started this business, and see if it's at all where you landed now. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? Now, if you would like to join me, I am doing a free event on Tuesday, September 10th, 10 a.m. Eastern, okay? My free event is the Studio Owner Fall Kickoff. Now, if you don't have a studio, but you have a dance business, you are more than welcome to join us. We are going to have a blast. The whole idea is that we're going to kickstart our fall season with confidence, okay? We are going to get together online. We're going to navigate the upcoming season. We're going to do some group journaling, some goal setting, and I'll be coaching a few people if you want to raise your hand to do that. I think one of the things that is so helpful is when you hear other people getting coached live, and maybe they have the same question or concern that you have, but you can benefit from hearing someone else getting coached right there in front of you. And so we're going to do some of that as well. You're going to discover fresh perspectives, gain actionable insights, and ignite your passion for dance. We don't want burnout this season. And if we're already burnt out, we're going to just level set that and get things going. We're going to help you feel inspired and equipped. All right. So September 10th, I want you to go to my website, gingerhaithcox.com/events, sign up. Again, it's free. You can join me for this event and we're going to have a blast together. I'm going to put the link in the show notes and I hope to see you then. Take care and have a great time writing your position description. Hey there, this is Ginger. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. If you loved it, subscribe so you never miss an episode. And please share it with a friend and leave us a 5-star review so more people can discover the show. Resources can be found at gingerhaithcox.com and you can find me on Instagram at HaithcoxBiz.